In Medini, we've spent a lot of time ensuring that the master plan makes sense, and it's the most important thing for us to follow. To be able to make a master plan that really works, we've spent a lot of our time looking at demand sources, understanding what generates demand and respecting the time scale of that demand. So a development such as Medini is a 5, 10, a 15-year development. We look at, in this first 5-year phase, what we call the now demand. Now the now demand, the fairly obvious one, is generated by Singapore, where Singapore has basically run out of land and has actually got a little bit too expensive. So there is a push factor there for businesses and families to look for more affordable locations for business and living and a little bit more space. I think it's one thing to have the master plan right and understand demand, but for a business or families associated with that business, for them to make the move to a new location, they need to know that there is provision of education, provision of healthcare, and provision of affordable housing. So the combination of the social infrastructure and federal government in Malaysia providing the main road network system, the larger infrastructure, together with the push factor from Singapore, the Malaysian economic growth story, and quite a lot of growth within Asia region anyway, are all factors that are playing in the right direction for us right now. Looking across I suppose we could call it the master plan of the master plans, right across Iskandar, we are comfortable that we see 5 distinct flagship zones they're referred to. And each of those zones across Iskandar have their own central catalyst and reason for existing. So let me explain. There's a western zone that is a transshipment port, and that's the main focus of that development around it. There's an eastern zone that is more oil and gas and heavy industry around shipping, and that's the critical mass for that. There's redevelopment of the city of Johor Bahru, and so that's a key focus for that area. And then there's logistics and industrial areas around the Sinai airport area to the north. And then where we are, which is central west, is kind of what we describe as the central business district of the Iskandar region. So straight away, the comfort factor for us in terms of protection from respect of master plan on a high level viewpoint is that the 5 development zones each have their distinct catalyst and core reason for existing. We've made significant investment ourselves. Our development model was to ensure that we've got the right master plan, as I mentioned, but to be able to create a space where new business and investors have confidence and make life easier for them coming into a new place, is that we've provided all of the road systems, the underground utilities, the infrastructure, the parklands, the public spaces, the street lighting. So we have invested quite a considerable amount of money in that. Now across the Iskandar region, government have already announced that we've reached a figure of 100 billion ringgit of investment, which are approximately 30 billion US dollars of committed investment across Iskandar region. So we're dealing with quite considerable numbers here. Multinational companies or foreign direct investment, we obviously need to look at that. That's a key area for us to be providing for, and is actually a key source of growth for us. What I mean by that, maybe I can give an example, is if you look at the Singapore context, and where is Singapore in its growth story? So Singapore is really a place that suits the headquarters of a bank, a financial institute, or a multinational company. And I think that it's still going to be a great place for banks, multinationals to have their headquarters. Now, a headquarters needs support space, and that support space for economic reasons and business cost reasons needs to be more affordable. So we think that we can offer Singapore an option on those affordable support spaces. So, for example, you could have a significant multinational headquarters downtown Singapore. The support spaces could be in Changi Industrial Estate, could be in Jurong, or could be in Medini. So we're just another option that we believe assists the Singapore growth story. And we're seeing recognition of Singapore businesses and Singapore agencies really understanding that. And I think the double benefit to Singapore is that if the support spaces to that multinational land in Medini, it's Singapore businesses that will populate that space. So we see a win-win, and that's the critical success factor for us that creates a platform for FDI.